Quest time. C'è proprio tutta la telecamera che si abbassa.
Ad Astra Abyssosk. Recently, the Adventurers Guild has received an unusual commission, and after
Ma le hanno cambiato la voce?
we believe that
the traveler would be the most suitable candidate, right?
In effetti.
Indeed, as ever. I will spare the pleasantries then. May I ask if you two are available to help? Well, let me go over it briefly. Our client for this job is the Yashiro Commission.
È l'atto 2 di Raiden, sì.
Attacking the roots of the sacred Sakura nearby Mount Yogo in great numbers.
Rift Hounds? On Narukami Island?
Yes.
Insomma, sta dicendo che i lupacchiotti stanno attaccando Narukami Island. Ok.
They're attacking in alarming numbers with great aggression and a clear target. The sacred Sakura is of tremendous importance to Inazuma. I trust you are aware of this already? Good. Then you can see that this case is very urgent indeed.
Ok.
Is the Khaenri'ah Commission aware?
Yes.
Poi non so se ci hai fatto caso che in gioco ogni volta che ci sono le quest legati agli Archon ci danno dei nuovi boss o dei nuovi pezzi di lore interessanti. Quindi
their main priority is to protect the civilian population. So they are actively looking to cooperate with all other available forces to eliminate the monsters. The Adventurers Guild is one of the key parties assisting the Khaenri'ah Commission with their work. But so far, the combined efforts to combat the Rift Towns has failed to substantially
tipo quando è
ameliorate
uscito,
the situation.
che era lo scorso anno ormai, era uscita la quest, secondo capitolo della quest di Zhongli, è arrivato Ashda ed è rimasto come per boss settimanale, quindi evidentemente le Archon Quest, non tanto le Archon Quest, ma le quest degli Archon sono più importanti rispetto alle altre. Però interessante che questa quest non comincia con Raiden o Yamiko, ma comincia con una commissione normale. Ok. Ok, mi prendo un po' di Sakura blu, non fanno mai male da farmare questi. Ce ne sono altri qui. Tra l'altro dovrei curare lei, ma va bene. Qua c'è un gattino. Non ci arriverò a piedi, facciamo il teletrasporto. Però qua mi prendo questi che sono un po' che non li farmo questi. Ecco qua. Sempre meglio averli questi che non avere, non si sa mai quando potrebbero diventare utili. Ok. Ce n'era un altro di qua, credo. Se non ricordo male. No. Dov'era? Boh, vabbè. Allora, andiamo qui. Sì. Ok, dobbiamo andare 100 metri. Vai nell'area dove sono apparsi i mostri. Ok. Fammi caricare la bar così mi curo. Ok.
Wind, hear me. Adventure time. I'm going in. Inazuma shines eternal.
Wow, there are so many of them. No wonder the Khaenri'ah Commission needed help. Come on, traveler.
La miseria quanti.
Torn to oblivion.
Che è entrata.
Shogun? Wait, no.
you two. It has been a long time.
No,
We
ecco,
have
è
not seen
EA,
each other since the
c'è scritto, ma
resolution of the
è EA,
10-year
non è lo
commission
Shogun.
crisis.
Okay, sounds more like A. It is you, right? You sure made short work of them.
Poi mi chiedono, ma perché ti piace il personaggio? E minchia, guarda che entrate che
I'm
faccia.
making early preparations for what is to come. Last time we took a walk around Inazuma together, I witnessed the way the world is today. I was finally able to
È l'unico,
comprehend some things
assieme a
that
Jin,
I
è
had
l'unico
never
personaggio 5
understood in
stelle
the
che ho 3
past.
costellazioni,
Since
giusto per
then,
darvi un'idea.
every time I encounter an obstacle in my thinking, I find myself having the urge to spend some time in the outside world.
Makes sense. You must get super bored being stuck in there all the time.
Per chi non lo sapesse, lei, la sua coscienza, è intrappolata nella plane of Eutimia, che sarebbe tipo un mondo, un piano astrale, non so neanche come definirlo. Ecco qua, l'ha detto ora. Quindi è il corpo che noi vediamo, è quello di un pazzo, cioè non è lei.
And they led me here, where I happened to run into you. If the Shogun rather than I were to discover them, yes, perhaps she would have left the situation alone.
No, credo che sia sempre giusto ricordare un po' di trama, no?
According to the rules I designed for her, matters of this nature are to be delegated to the Tri-Commission. But Rift Hounds attacking the sacred Sakura... It brings back bad memories of that terrible disaster.
Ok, prima che va avanti, il disastro a cui fa riferimento credo che sia la distruzione di Khaenri'ah di 500 anni fa. O quantomeno quando è venuta a mancare la sorella Makoto.
A disaster?
Yes. 500 years ago, a great catastrophe befell Inazuma. Everything was engulfed in a pitch-black fog, and monsters ravaged the land. Countless lives were lost, and this homeland that the people had worked so hard to build barely escaped being obliterated entirely. The monsters committed many atrocities on Inazuman soil, and the Rift Hounds were always their advance guard. Their duty was to tear open a passage through space with their claws and teeth,
ecco
and
qua,
then call in even more powerful
confermato.
beasts.
Quindi confermato, 500 years ago, Khaenri'ah.
So you've heard of it too. That's an episode of history that I am loath to recall. Maybe to you, it seems like my response to these creatures was an excessive one. But an excess of caution is not unwarranted in this case.
Guess you can't argue with that.
Esatto,
Since we are both here for the same reason, let us work together. From the traces they've left in the surrounding area, there should be many more monsters nearby. All of them must be eliminated.
Ok.
Paimon feels so safe when we're in Ace Company. Having someone uber powerful.
Sì, però io non vorrei dire una cosa, ma la mia Raiden Shogun è molto più potente di lei, soprattutto per come ce la fanno giocare per i miei, quindi non ce la fanno utilizzare. Pensavo c'era una... Pensavo che c'era tipo una trial, una cosa di questo tipo. Ok. Guardate che impronte. Cioè... Allora, aspetta, qua ci sono quei due. Un sacco di gente adorava vedere questi due signorini qua.
The insolent shall be punished.
Vabbè, poverini, poverini. Però era quanto divertente vederli assieme. Uniti anche quando si è cattivi. E poi ti dicono: a cosa serve Jin? Jin serve per rovinare le relazioni amorose tra i PNG. Ok, dove dobbiamo andare? Eccola là, sì, da quella parte. Ah, raga, è importante, soprattutto dopo San Valentino, ridurre qualsiasi tipo di relazione tra persone. Non si sa mai. Soprattutto con i cattivi non si sa mai cosa possono combinare. Ok. No, siamo andati nella parte sbagliata. No, di qua era. Ok. Ah, ok, c'era un filmatino.
We are lucky. The damage is not too serious. The Yashiro Commission will be able to nurse the root system back to health.
This stuff that's flowing out, is it sap or something? And how come it's glowing?
C'erano pezzi di legname blu.
Huh?
Adesso esce il Team Rocket dei Pokémon, sicuro.
What's this? Could they be dead people?
Adesso pure i fantasmi
Wouldn't
ci
be the
sono,
first time we've
fantastico.
seen ghosts on our journey. But why would they appear here?
Let's search the area. Perhaps we will find out.
Ok.
I can't go on like this. Not when the other troops are counting on me.
What happened here? Could you tell us?
Who are you? What are you doing here? Run quick while you still can. The monsters will be back. And once
Ok,
you're in
quindi
their
sono i
sights,
mostri che li
I'm
hanno
telling you,
uccisi
there's no
praticamente.
escaping them. We will defend Inazuma until our dying breath. You don't know? Inazuma is
Bisogna capire se sono
engulfed in
morti
darkness.
cioè, recentemente
Beasts
o...
and horrifying monsters are everywhere. They're merciless, ferocious, and they will devour everything in their path. Every last trace of humanity's existence, I tell you. They'll devour it all.
Che poi perché i mostri sono così cattivi? Non si sa.
That seems to be going on around here.
Not right now, but they'll be back. Look,
Sì,
get out of here.
probabilmente,
Now,
probabilmente.
there's no time left. The almighty Shogun is gone. So is Kitsune Saigu. There is no one left to rely on but ourselves.
Ok, qua bisogna fermare perché evidentemente sono persone che sono morte 500 anni fa e questo ce lo conferma perché esattamente mi pare, non mi ricordo quando è morta la sorella di Raiden ed era lei, la sorella di Raiden, a fare da Shogun. C'era lei che insomma governava il tutto. Kitsune Saigu è una di quelle tre ragazze, mi pare quella con i capelli rosa, che si vedeva nel teaser trailer di Raiden. Quindi c'era Raiden assieme ad altre tre ragazze, di cui una era questa qui. Quindi se è morta anche lei vuol dire che
I don't know how long we can hold out for.
si
But if we
riferiscono a un
abandon
tempo
our
molto
hope,
passato.
then we've got nothing left at all.
Ok, andiamo
Don't
avanti.
worry, I'm right here.
It's the Shogun? You're back. Please, we beg you. You have to help us. You have to save Inazuma.
Ok.
Only the glow of your supreme lightning can dispel this terrible darkness. Please, or the whole of Inazuma will be reduced to a hunting ground for the beasts.
Calm down. The war you speak of is over.
Over? But what do you mean?
Sono passati
Shogun.
diversi anni ormai.
Look around you. The grass grows green and lush, and a soft breeze blows. This is Inazuma at peace, as you will no doubt remember. There are no monsters, nor is there anything else here that could threaten your life.
Anche perché sei già morto, quindi...
But how? Just moments ago, they were everywhere. I saw them tear my comrade to shreds with my own eyes.
Hey, calm down. Everything's fine now.
Huh. I think I understand. Almighty Shogun, you saved Inazuma. Yes, we were right to place our trust in the almighty Shogun. As long as the Shogun is
Che
with
bella
us,
questo
Inazuma will
scudo
last for eternity.
sulla spalla. Molto figo.
Thank you,
Molto figo.
Your Excellency. Thank
Ho
you.
visto un sacco di
Thank
gente
you.
avere un sacco di problemi, però non sapevano
What's
come
wrong with him?
costruirla questa cosa perché...
He's gone.
Paimon can't even begin to understand what that was all about. But somehow, Paimon feels all sad and hopeless.
If I am not mistaken, what we just saw was a samurai's memory that was buried in the land. The sacred Sakura can absorb and purify the filth in the ley lines. After the Rift Hounds attacked, some of this filth leaked out through the cracks in the trunk and formed a physical
Ah,
entity.
addirittura.
An entity formed with strong filth would be highly aggressive.
Ok,
When purified, it presents in the form of a memory.
ok, questa cosa che ho fatto che è legata ai ley lines è particolare perché si ricollega anche all'evento di Albedo, dove essenzialmente c'era il Albedo Sus, cioè il secondo Albedo che era nato da questi ley line e tutto il resto, e quindi evidentemente oltre a formare un'entità senziente si formano anche rimangono, cioè nei ley line queste cose qui rimangono delle memorie, tutto il resto, insomma. Interessante.
Purified filth quickly dissipates and will be absorbed by the ley lines shortly afterwards. In other words, it cannot exist for too long.
Dusky Mink, chi cazzo è?
So the memories of the ones that died are all appearing at this moment?
Yes. That soldier was one of the many thousands who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Ah, addirittura.
What he was describing just now was precisely the disaster that happened in Inazuma 500 years ago.
Ha menzionato che lo Shogun era
Yes.
assente.
Inazuma was facing many great crises at that time. Some were local in origin, while others came from the now fallen kingdom of Khaenri'ah. The disaster in Inazuma caused me great concern. I felt that I had to step in before it was too late, otherwise it would spread to all of Tevat. But
Addirittura.
my friend, Kitsune Saiku, reassured me that I had nothing to worry about. She would shoulder the responsibility of protecting Inazuma and mobilize all forces at her disposal to combat the threat. I could tell that, although neither of us acknowledged it, we both knew that the road ahead would likely end in tragedy.
So, Inazuma was attacked at the same time as when the disaster happened in Khaenri'ah?
Sì, infatti, perché erano lo stesso? Cioè,
Indeed. Countless monsters suddenly appeared throughout all of Inazuma. In the end, Kitsune Saigu sacrificed her life to protect the people.
ok, allora, questo, sapendo altri pezzi di lore, possiamo anche capire da dove viene. Ovvero che, a quanto si è capito, il regno di Khaenri'ah è stato distrutto da Celestia e tipo tutti i suoi cittadini, o la maggior parte di essi, si sono stati trasformati in mostri. E dato che forse questo regno era molto vasto, questi mostri sono andati a espandersi insomma nel mondo di Tevat e lì si sono creati casini. Quindi immagino che forse questo è il motivo per il quale sono apparsi tutti questi mostri in Inazuma, cioè non venivano così a caso, sono venuti perché uno dei regni più popolati, più importanti che c'erano in quel periodo è caduto e tutte quelle persone si sono trasformate in mostri e tutto il resto. Non tutti, non tutti. Là mi pare che era stato riferito al fatto che gli Ilichurl sono dei ex cittadini di Khaenri'ah. Gli altri mostri non sappiamo, non è chiaro. Però è confermata questa cosa che i cittadini di Khaenri'ah, ex cittadini di Khaenri'ah, sono stati trasformati in mostri. Non si sa da chi, non si sa per quale motivo. E boh. Quindi evidentemente questo attacco, cioè praticamente mentre veniva distrutto il regno, cittadini si sono stati trasformati in mostri, poi questi sono andati nel giro a farsi un giro in Tevat e hanno causato danni, come questo che sta raccontando lei.
I never had the chance to see her one last time. But I would like to believe that she kept her promise to me until the very last. But even then,
Insomma, pezzi di trama molto
Inazuma was
interessanti.
left more devastated than we could have ever imagined. Those terrible tragedies left great wounds that are still felt to this day, both on the land itself and in my heart.
Sì, adesso lei chiederà domanda, ma sì, è questa la perdita che ha condizionato
Yes.
Ei a chiudersi nel
For the
plane of
longest
Yutani.
time, I couldn't bring myself to face the pain of that loss. All my martial might was in vain. Though I could conquer Tatarigami and vanquish monsters, I was helpless against the ravages of time, powerless to keep the ones I cherished alive.
Esatto. Quindi una volta che ha perso le persone che a lei erano
But
care...
after my clash with human ambition, I thought long and hard. Now I realize I cannot fixate on the past forever. When I traveled around Inazuma with you, I caught a glimpse of how the nation has progressed over the centuries. A glimpse of human potential. Everything far exceeded my expectations. Moving forward inevitably invites further loss, but also new encounters.
Insomma, Ei non è
Just
più
think of
chiusa in
that
se
soldier.
stessa, che
Despite
è
all
ottimo.
the losses he had experienced, he still chose to keep fighting for the sake of moving forward. All those who sacrificed themselves back then gave their lives fighting for a future. But perhaps the future they were hoping for is not the eternity that I once strove for.
Esatto, perché praticamente Ei voleva mantenere tutto uguale. Che comunque non ha alcun senso, perché tu non puoi fermare il tempo. Cioè, non lo puoi fermare, almeno che non sei un'entità come lei, allora sì, puoi trovare il modo. Però, cioè, non puoi fermare il tempo per tutti gli altri, anche se tu vuoi chiudere la tua nazione e tutto il resto. Il progresso continua. Cioè, le persone nascono, muoiono e tutto il resto. Quindi si è creata da sola questo fraintendimento su come andare avanti e...
As Inazuma's god, it is high time I honored their wishes.
Esatto, quindi
Warriors
ora
of the
finalmente
past,
con il
you
Traveler ha
spilled
capito
your
cosa
blood
fare.
on this land. Your noble souls now rest in this earth. I will never forget you, and all that you did for Inazuma.
He's taking all this pretty hard.
Come on. Let's keep investigating the damage to the sacred Sakura.
Ok, qua c'è da prendere questo e andiamo avanti con la quest. Dobbiamo andare di qua. Ah, ci sono altri... Ah, aspetta, ma ci ha dato accesso a... Dove sono finiti gli altri membri del party?
Leave them to me.
E lei... Cioè, adesso stiamo utilizzando solo lei? Ma è la nostra. Ma mi ha tolto i personaggi dal party. What?
Now you shall perish. Shine down.
Sì, ma questi ci possono far fuori però.
There is no escape.
Questi mi fanno fuori. Dove sono i membri del party?
Illusion shattered. There is no escape.
Mi sa che avevi detto che la tua Raiden è più forte di quella... Sì, ho capito, però gli serve comunque una mano, cioè... Oddio.
Shine down. Torn to oblivion.
Sì, ho capito.
Seems wrong with A.
Cioè, ci sta che mi vuoi dare una sfida, ma così di punto in bianco ho detto, Madonna, io mi sento perso. Io mi sono abituato in questi mesi ad avere sempre un healer nel party. Cioè, quando non ho un healer nel party, io ti giuro, mi sento male. Perché devi avere comunque una cura in sto gioco, se no, cioè, soprattutto ora.
Why would you ask that?
Well, usually you'd pull out your sword and swish! Vaporize them all in one go, no?
You are unduly concerned. I'm simply conserving my energy. Although I have some understanding of the situation already, it could take an unexpected turn at any
No,
time.
ormai sto Hoyoverse è
I must
diventato
be
un
prepared
meme.
for
Cioè, alla fine hanno solo
There are
cambiato
more
nome,
formidable
non è
monsters
niente
lying in wait in this area.
di...
I must make
di
sure I
che.
have the strength
C'è gente
to
che
face
l'ha
them.
paragonata a Sword Art Online. Cioè, Dio mio, guarda che nessuno qua si sta mettendo un visore e se vivi in un mondo virtuale. No, modo un po' per fare riprendere l'annuncio che hanno fatto di Meta, di Zuckerberg e Facebook. Hanno ripreso quello, però insomma stiamo di parlare di giochi che tu giochi col pad e altro.
Is that you?
Poi io non gioco nemmeno a tutti i giochi di Miyoyo, quindi...
Almighty Shogun, what brings you back so soon? I thought you were off fighting a battle.
Che
in a
poi,
distant land.
scusami, io preferisco molto di più il logino che hanno fatto per questo nuovo nome rispetto a Miyoyo. Cioè, Miyoyo, per quanto è carino, però questo qua è molto più figo a livello di design, se hai visto il...
And a member of my retinue. Though blind, Furuyama is
Sì,
unparalleled
sì,
in
sì,
his
sì.
ability to appraise tea. He brews some of the very finest tea in all of Inazuma.
Your Excellency, you shower me with praise undeserved. I have simply had the good fortune to be in Your Excellency's presence long
E poi,
enough
scusami,
to become
questo come
acquainted
fa a
with
preparare
all
il
the
tè
skills that are
se è
required of
bendato?
me.
Cioè, deve essere molto
It
bravo.
sounds like the Almighty Shogun has brought
Genshin
guests.
NFT soon. I hope
I'm afraid I'm
not.
unable to serve you any respectable refreshments on account of the current
Pensi che
situation.
faranno mai un anime
But
e i
please,
manga? Guarda,
sit
un manga
and
già
rest.
c'è. Un manga già c'è. Sono tipo 13-14
After all,
capitoli,
it's quite a
di
mess out
cui
there.
solo una parte sono stati tradotti in inglese.
What should we
Di anime non ne ho idea. Spero di sì, perché la storia è bella. Cioè...
yeah.
Però il problema, sai qual è? Che se fai un anime,
Monsters everywhere.
poi la gente che fa? Si vede l'anime e non gioca? O magari fai l'anime che va in una direzione e la storia in un'altra?
So,
Cioè...
they have fought their
Oppure
way this
sono due
far
cose
already.
complementari. Tipo,
Most of the residents in this
se hai
neighborhood
visto
have
i
already
trailer
escaped.
d'animazione di
They
Honkai,
wanted to take
quelli
me
sono
with them,
complementari alla
but it seemed rather
storia.
pointless
E
to
quindi,
me.
insomma, vanno di pari
So, I
passo.
decided to stay. And now the Almighty Shogun is here, I have even less reason to run away. Imagine if this was something that even the Almighty Shogun was powerless to resolve. Where could I
Also, Bear,
possibly
you should
run
log in
to
inside the game because they will give you 600 Primogems for free. And if you use that code that I
People
wrote
flee out of a desire
in
to
the chat
live on,
earlier, you
and
will
the
get
desire to
60
live on
Primogems for free.
stems from a
So,
feeling of having unfinished business in
alcuni
life.
sono stupendi, guarda. E grazie a quei
Me,
trailer di
I have
animazione che io
no
mi sono
such thoughts,
avvicinato
and I have
a
no
Honkai.
regrets.
Prima non lo conoscevo
Almighty
così
Shogun
tanto
often
per...
speaks to me about her
sapevo che era
dreams
fatto da
over tea.
Miyoyo, ma non mi ci avvicinavo. Poi ho visto i
Just
trailer e ho
listening
detto,
to her
wow,
stories.
cioè veramente,
I've
veramente
been
molto
blind for
figo.
many years, but her vivid descriptions took me on a splendid journey to all the most beautiful places in Inazuma. Over time, I've come to understand her mindset. Quite the romantic at heart, a true dreamer. One thing she always says is, good things don't last forever. Everything changes, fades, disappears completely over the passage of time. And so, people must make the
Allora,
most of the life they
le
have.
buone cose
Seize the chance
non
to
durano per
enjoy it
sempre,
while it
tutto
lasts,
cambia
and have no regrets
e
in the
scompare
end.
con il passaggio del tempo.
So you see, as bleak as things may be now, I have experienced countless wonderful things in life. And have
Insomma,
no
credo che
reason not
lui
to
ora
be
si sta
satisfied.
riferendo a Raiden Makoto, che sarebbe la sorella di Ei.
You are right.
It won't be long now before I have to say goodbye to the almighty Shogun for the last time. Ah, what a pity. I'll never get to see what Inazuma looks like after the almighty Shogun rebuilds it anew. But I suppose it doesn't matter. Everyone says that Inazuma has turned dark now. But to me, it went dark a long time ago.
Insomma, anche lui è morto anni e anni fa.
Life is sure to spring forth anew. But even if I survived until then, I'd probably be a hopelessly befuddled old so-and-so by then. So, never mind, eh?
Ok.
Oh, goodness me. Speaking of befuddled, look at me rambling away to my heart's content and forgetting to serve the tea.
Cioè, adesso tira fuori il tè dalle tasche. Ok.
A truly egregious loss of decorum. One moment, I'll just... Where in the world is the tea set? I hope the others didn't smash it to smithereens in their hasty departure.
Can't see a tea set anywhere around here.
Really? But it's always been right by my side. Goodness gracious, what a fool I'm making of myself.
Okay.
I couldn't possibly have my guests fetch it themselves. That would be most discourteous indeed.
Don't worry about it. Take a rest. We'll be back right away.
Almighty Shogun, you're not going too, are you? No, no, no. Your humble servant implores you, not with the war raging outside.
This place is complicated.
Vedi, neanche lei vuole dire che, insomma,
Leave it to us.
È passato decisamente un po' di tempo tra gli eventi che sta descrivendo.
Okay. I never thought I'd see the day that I need the almighty Shogun to personally collect my tea set for me. I can't decide whether it's a final regret or a final stroke of good fortune.
Dobbiamo andare nella cosa di Kamisato, ok. Andiamo a casa di Ayaka, magari c'è anche il fratello. Ma dobbiamo entrarci dentro. No. Questo qua non l'avevo. No, non c'è niente qua. Quindi dove lo dobbiamo prendere questo set per il tè? No, è sparita proprio da queste. Ah, ok, quindi dobbiamo togliere la quest di coso. Di Toma. Ok, togliamo la quest di Toma e ci mettiamo quella di Sayu. No, andiamo qua.
Where should we go to find a tea set? Having a cup of tea isn't exactly the most urgent thing to do right now, but at the same time, this lovely old man from 500 years ago has been through so much, and it makes...
Vediamo se appare il fratello.
And the almighty Shogun! How might I be of assistance, Your Excellency?
I wish to borrow a tea set from the Yashiro Commission.
Oh, sure. I'll fetch that for you right away.
Se te immagina, arriva tipo il presidente della Repubblica a casa tua e ti dice: scusami, hai una tazza di tè? Ok. Ce lo vedrei però Mattarella venire qua in casa e dice: scusami, mi va un po' di caffè, un po' di tè.
I'd prefer to spend this time chatting with the traveler. Please, fetch the tea set at your convenience.
No. I am your humble servant. I daren't think of my own convenience when the almighty Shogun graces me with her presence. I'll deal with it right away.
Well, it's not often we have the chance to chat. I'm sure you must have a lot of questions.
Right. Paimon wanted to ask that too. The almighty shogun that he described didn't sound
Ok, vediamo
anything
che
like you
dice.
at all.
I seldom had the time to drink tea. Any free time I had was spent practicing martial arts. So, in the vast majority of cases, the one he made tea for
Eccola qui.
was the former Electro Archon, who was also my sister, Raiden Makoto.
Ok, allora lei non era stata ancora. Allora, mi pare che era stata citata, ma non così platealmente. Però leggendo sulla wiki e altre cose era abbastanza chiaro che c'erano due persone. Quindi interessante, interessante. Finalmente lo
He may
sappiamo.
well have had an inkling about there being two Raiden Shoguns,
Ecco qua.
but he always acted as if he was completely unaware of it. The philosophy of life that he shared with us just now, that was Makoto's view on reality. She always saw things that way.
You and Makoto had pretty different views, huh?
Indeed we did. It was the biggest difference between us.
Ah beh.
In her eyes, the most precious things in this world were dreams. The yearning for a better future held by living beings.
Ah beh. Aspetta, ma c'è una sfida lì. Guardate, c'è una sfida là in alto. Come cazzo ha fatto a non vederla? Cioè, oh.
They are similar, but not identical. When you came charging into the plane of Euthymia, I saw human aspirations light up the sky far above in the form of countless stars. This somewhat shook me.
Vedi perché sono utili le quest? Ogni tanto ti fanno queste riprese dall'alto, che vedi zone dove non ci hai mai buttato un occhio.
Wow. There sure was a lot going on beneath the surface.
Makoto saw a bigger picture than I did. In her view, a dream is more imaginary, more abstract than an ambition. An ambition is a yearning for something material, or a concrete outcome. It is finite in nature, and will be replaced by a new ambition in due course. Makoto was more concerned with the force that drives humans to constantly generate new ambitions in the first place. It is something innate, rooted in instinct. In other words, it is something eternal.
Interessante.
Quite a lot to take in.
Cioè, Paimon non capisce mai un H di tutto quello che viene spiegato. Cioè, è fantastico.
Outcomes. I didn't understand at the time. How can we say that we are maintaining eternity when things are constantly moving forward and evolving?
Vabbè, te proprio c'è la testaccia dura.
Down to is the definition of eternity she set out with. Yes, it does. I always thought that she must have grasped some elusive, arcane wisdom to arrive at the conclusions she did. But in the last analysis, Makoto's philosophy was, on the surface at least, an elegantly simple one. Notwithstanding that it was also the more prudent choice, based on a more mature, far-sighted outlook.
Do you feel you're starting to understand her better now?
You have already witnessed my previous views on eternity.
Era testaccia dura anche lei.
I no longer cling to what was lost. I suppose that means our differences have been reconciled.
Cioè, adesso che non c'è più.
I found a tea set. This one in particular should be fit for your excellency's use.
It's quite beautiful. Thank you.
You are too kind. A humble servant such as I does not deserve the gratitude of the almighty Shogun.
It's all good, sir. She's actually pretty chill.
Guarda che faccina.
Let us return. We ought not keep Furuyama waiting too long.
Ok. 400 metri, ci arriviamo da qui. Di solito questo è il teletrasporto per fare Ah, c'è un nemico là. Ok, lo sfruttiamo per curarci un po'. Di solito qua ci sono i bossini settimanali.
I swear by my sword. There is no escape.
Muori, 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 muori.
Illusion shattered.
Ecco qua, perfetto. Ci siamo curati e ora possiamo andare là. Tra l'altro, se ve lo state chiedendo, gente, stasera non ci sono in diretta, quindi per questo motivo stiamo facendo tutto ora, bene o male, bene o male.
Hey, where'd he go? He wouldn't have gone looking for a tea set himself, would he?
Or perhaps the ley lines did not have the power to sustain him for very long.
Insomma, il vecchietto è
As was the
sparito.
case with the memory
Rip
we said
vecchietto.
earlier.
So we won't get to drink his tea? We didn't even have a chance to say goodbye.
Che poi volevo fare una diretta stamattina, ma poi mi sono accorto che stavano continuando a uscire leak, quindi ho detto meglio aspettare. Non si sa mai. Infatti poi mi è servito, così ne abbiamo parlato un po' a dovere prima, ecco.
Well, this chance won't come often, and we do have a tea set. Perhaps I should try my hand at making us a pot of tea. I've watched Furuyama brew tea on many occasions. I doubt I should have any major problems doing it myself.
Insomma, adesso ci facciamo un po' di tè con l'arco, no? Ok.
The tea is ready. Please give it a try. So many thoughts were racing through my head as I was brewing it.
Quando ti dicono che hai amici importanti, il traveler si fa fare il tè dall'arco, ok?
You're right. But the things we've seen today have brought back many memories for me. I've been reminded of many people, too. Kitsune Saigu, Makoto, and all the other friends who I watched pass even further back. Back at the Yashiro Commission, I kept
Ma io comunque credevo che con questa quest arrivavamo alla boss fight. Evidentemente non è questa?
I'd like to broach a heavier topic, if I may. The
Attenzione.
events of 500 years ago not only robbed me of my friend, Kitsune Saigu, they also took Makoto away from me.
Ok, questo si sapeva.
She died in that disaster too?
Yes. She went to Khaenri'ah alone.
Ah beh.
Without telling me. Unlike me, Makoto was no martial artist. Whenever similar crises had arisen in the past, I was always the one to face them in her stead. But this time,
E allora che cavolo ci sei andata a fare se non
the
sapevi combattere?
circumstances were so grave that Makoto had no choice but to leave me behind. Or perhaps it was more that she went ahead of me, put herself in front of me, so that I would
Non lo
remain
so,
hidden.
vediamo un po' come va avanti, eh.
In any case, by the time I realized what was happening,
Vabbè. Poverina.
yes, it was too late. I arrived only in time to hear her dying breath.
Allora, il doppiaggio fantastico in questo momento. Guarda la sua faccina, cioè qua ci vuole uno screenshot perché Raiden triste non si vedeva da una vita. Quindi,
She had already lapsed into unconsciousness
veramente
by that
molto
point. So all I could
10
do
su 10 al
was
doppiaggio.
enter into her mind. As far as you're concerned, it would be somewhere similar to the plane of Euthymia. It was there that we bid each other a final farewell. I cried bitterly. Even in those final moments, I couldn't understand her actions. Why did she go to Khaenri'ah first, and not I? Why did she keep me in the dark about it? Was it to shield me? It was there and then that I resolved to pursue eternity. As a testament to that decision, I saved her realm of consciousness just before it collapsed completely and brought it back to Inazuma.
Ok.
That's quite a story.
Ha salvato la
When I returned
coscienza
to
di
Inazuma,
Makoto?
I was shocked to find that a great Sakura tree had appeared on Mount Yogo. The tree that you know as the sacred Sakura.
Ah, prima non c'era quell'albero gigante?
That's
What?
exactly what everyone back then told me as well. That it had existed since time immemorial. They were so matter-of-fact about it, and couldn't at all understand what I was so surprised about. No one questioned it. And yet, its presence contrasted so starkly with the area as I remembered it. It seemed as if I was the only one to have noticed it appear suddenly out of thin air. In the end, I simply had to accept that it was a miraculous effect of Makoto's consciousness.
Ah, addirittura.
With the help of the sacred Sakura's power, I was finally able to overcome the monsters and quell the disaster in Inazuma.
This is all really hard to understand. Kinda beyond Paimon's level.
Beh, no, ovviamente.
Yes. She had such a great love for this land and for its people. In this respect, I still do not compare to her.
Ok, qua c'è da specificare una cosa, perché per come sono stati spiegati gli Archon in gioco, soprattutto a Mondstadt, essenzialmente un Archon non può morire. O meglio, la sua coscienza, la sua essenza, il suo potere non può morire. Questo perché un esempio è il lupo che affrontiamo ogni settimana a Mondstadt. Noi non stiamo affrontando un lupo che è vivo, quello è essenzialmente lo spirito di quello che era essenzialmente una specie di Archon minore della zona, che è morto e noi stiamo affrontando il suo spirito. Però capito, quindi non è morto e quindi essenzialmente il potere, la coscienza di Makoto si è trasferita nell'albero e insomma da lì si va avanti con la storia. Però credo sia giusto spiegare che appunto un Archon non può morire, o se muore qualcosa rimane. E questo viene anche detto nelle varie story quest e Archon quest di Liyue, quando per esempio si fa riferimento a cosa stanno affrontando gli Yaksha, cioè Xiao e altre cose, perché l'influenza degli Archon sulla Terra rimane. E infatti, quando veniva spiegato nella trama di Xiao cosa hanno combattuto gli Yaksha, cioè le persone come lui, erano essenzialmente i mostri che venivano generati dall'odio di questi Archon minori che c'erano durante l'Archon War, che sono stati sconfitti, quindi sono morti, però in qualche modo il loro potere ha dato vita ad altri mostri e caos in generale.
I once told myself that I would never speak of these events again. Facing the fact that she is gone is unbearably painful.
Tantissimo.
But even the tea that is most bitter to the tongue, once swallowed, leaves some sweetness in the throat. And it's time I came to terms with it all.
Oh, while we're on the topic, since you experienced that battle in person...
Oh, finalmente arriviamo alla domanda delle domande.
Brother. I had heard that you were looking for your family. You mean to say that he was somehow involved in the Khaenri'ah disaster?
Based on what we've learned so far, it seems so, yeah.
I'm sorry. I wasn't there for the whole thing. By the time I arrived, the worst of the fighting was already over.
Ah, mannaggia.
And also, my mind was consumed entirely with the plight of Inazuma and the fate of those closest to me. So, I am afraid I can't help you.
Mannaggia.
Oh, well, that's a shame. but it can't be helped, I guess.
Vabbè, tanto ci dovremmo andare comunque a
Both of you
Sumer,
have
quindi...
experienced great tragedy.
With this last cup of tea, let us honor the Tea Master's memory. Thank you, Destiny, for giving us the chance to meet again.
We should go. Let's keep following the traces.
Ah, mi sa che questo cosino di te rimarrà qui.
Very well. Based on my investigation so far, I believe this next pack of monsters should be the last. Remains constant over
Ecco
the
qua.
centuries.
L'indicatore non l'avevo
Human
visto.
life
È
is
talmente
like the dew of
piccolo.
dawn, or a bubble rising
Sì,
through water.
ok. Basta con sta telecamera.
Transitory.
Dio mio. Ok, chiudiamo qua. Sì, ho capito. Non c'è bisogno di fare sto zoom assurdo. Dio mio. Come cazzo mi sto arrampicando? Allora, che cosa abbiamo qua? Un paio di gemme. Dilu, Kutao, Zhongli e Ching. Non va bene sto team. Questo team non va bene. Non va bene perché manca un healer. Cioè, a meno che non hai Zhongli che ti para qualsiasi tipo di danno. Io sono sempre dell'idea che avere un healer in squadra serve sempre. Ok, qua ci dovrebbero essere dei nemici. Sì, sì, l'ho visto. Ok.
Once again, please leave them to me.
Vroom. Xiaojin Monautao.
You're scaring us.
Ma le daily dove sono? Mo ti spiego.
Fear not. Fighting is what I do best.
Allora, il secondo potrebbe anche andare, però... boh.
There is no escape.
Ah, un'altra volta!
Now you shall perish. Shine down.
Cioè, Miyoyo se l'è presa proprio buona nel fare ste sfide del cavolo. Certo, non sono così complicati da... Wow, che sta succedendo?
Are you alright?
I'm fine.
Qualcosa non va. Qualcosa non va nello Shogun, attenzione. Questo non ha vita. Oh no! Oddio.
There is no escape. Inazuma shines eternal.
Allora, c'è qualcosa di strano. Oddio, sto crepando male. Sto crepando male. Attenzione. C'è qualcosa di molto strano. Ho Bennett nel secondo Diona. Ah, ok, va bene. Attacchi cardiaci improvvisi a Raiden. Oddio, che cazzo sta succedendo?
My apologies.
Don't worry about it. Just take a breather and get your strength back. We'll deal with the monsters.
Zhongli Ito Kechingu Tao.
Look, that's the same light again.
Allora, ti ripeto, possono andare anche bene, a parte, no, aspetta. Se metti Ito in un team, devi avere, lo usi per il monogeo. Altrimenti hai fatto dei team con tutti i sub DPS. Non va bene, capito?
I'm quite all right. Just feeling a little stiff.
Ho appena letto la 2.4 mi sono perso il 5 stelle a mia scelta perché non c'ero. Che cazzo stai dicendo? No! Potevi scegliere un 4 stelle a tua scelta, non un 5, ma non hanno mai messo un 5 stelle a nostra scelta, magari. Non ho Diluc, ma cioè non ho Keqing, ma Eugene. Cambia poco. Cioè Eugene va bene per fare più danno elementale, ma se no... boh.
Is that a vision?
It certainly is. I know the gods are omnipotent, and their willingness to grant their power to humans means they have high expectations for us. If the almighty Shogun is in trouble, now of all times is the moment for us to honor that.
Ok.
So that's how samurai of that era understood visions, huh?
Nobody knew where your excellency had gone, and we were starting to despair. But now we've found you. You're right here with
Ok, lui ha lo stesso modello di quello chef di Liu,
Just the sight of you appearing before us once more has reignited the hope in our hearts.
Bello il particolare dell'occhio di Raiden. Cioè, di E in questo caso.
Everyone on me.
Meno male che ho letto male. In effetti. Traveler pronto a far battaglia.
Affirmative, but watch your backs.
No, aspetti, io non ho detto build. Io ho detto la selezione di personaggi nel party. Ok, sì, io non vedo nulla.
Everybody stand! Glory to the Shogun! Transcend all constraints. Torn to oblivion!
Dove sono andati? Ma questo è senza vita.
Teamwork is trick. Here we go. Think you can get away?
Flash! No turning back!
Ok. Ah, ok. No, perché ti ripeto, costruire i membri nel party è molto importante, perché questo ti dà più possibilità di fare danno, cure, crowd control, c'è tante cose, c'è controllare i nemici, c'è... Quindi... Il fatto di mettere tutti i sub DPS può essere una cosa buona se tu hai uno scudo nel team. Se tu utilizzi Zhongli e hai uno scudo, non subisci mai danni. Però se per esempio stai affrontando i lupacchiotti questi qua, questi ti fanno danno corrosivo che ignorano lo scudo, quindi il danno lo subisci.
Quickly, escort Her Excellency back to Inazuma City and regroup with the General's forces as soon as possible.
When everyone sees the almighty Shogun safely returning, their spirits will be lifted.
Well, what are you guys gonna do?
We will stay here and guard against the monsters' advance. We cannot afford to let them get any further. We are brothers in arms. As long as we stick together, we can face any number of monsters that come our way.
Poverini, cioè, diciamo che non ce l'hanno fatto contro i mostri questi qua.
Just leave it to us. Fighting is what we do best.
No.
But the almighty Shogun is the only one of us with the power to change the present state of affairs. Only Her Excellency can turn back.
Ascoltando quello che hai detto tu, la chat ora mi farmo il mio account che è ancora molto fertile, e poi quando uscirà il personaggio che mi piace andrò a summonare. Sì. È quello che fanno tutti alla fine. Tu devo lasciare gli amici, ma guarda, cioè, puoi cercare di, puoi anche shoppare forse leggermente un pochino e cercare di prenderla, o puoi farmare di più facendo le daily e tutto il resto, e aspettare che il banner sta lì per finire e provare a prenderla. O prendi lei o magari puoi prendere Raiden. Io ti suggerisco Raiden, secondo me è molto meglio Raiden. Di nulla, di nulla. Questi non sono buoni neanche a pescare un pesce. Però, vabbè, bella. Questa cosa è stata bella. Questo filmatino è stato bello.
It was both. The people's sacrifice has always caused me immense pain. But in dwelling on the tragedy, I overlooked their splendor. The grief blinded me to how brightly they shone in their final moments.
Cioè, questa story quest è fantastica.
Since their sacrifice, I have dishonored their will. You could take the view that whatever I say to them is meaningless, because they are but disembodied memories held in the ley lines. But even so, they are due a resolution.
Mannaggia.
I owe it to them, and to all the people who have placed their faith in me to date.
Well, Paimon thinks that even if it's a few hundred years later, you're doing right by them now. And that's what counts.
Ci hanno dedicato un bel po'
Thank you for your comforting words.
di passione nel craftare questa story quest. È veramente interessante.
And I have neglected it for far too long. I used to think just like that samurai, that I was first and foremost a warrior, and my only duty was to face whatever challenge came my way. But what Inazuma needs more than a warrior is someone like Makoto. Even though I am utterly unlike Makoto, and can never become the person she was, I still need to do the things that she would have done.
Okay.
Yes, they are. They are strong and resilient, and have much to be proud of. As the Raiden Shogun they revere, I should not be the one to hold them back.
Giusto,
Well
giusto.
said. Sounds to Paimon like you figured things out.
Change will come to Inazuma, and with it, new possibilities.
Sì, però non si è chiarito perché
This will take time,
stava male
but
prima.
eventually,
Ok.
the future
Vediamo
will
un po'
bring
che
healing
succede.
to the scars of the past. No matter how long it takes, I am committed to bringing this to fruition. This is my promise. Now that we've dealt with the Rift Hounds, this matter is halfway resolved. It does not appear that the threat will escalate for the time being. I will leave the Tenryou and Yashiro commissions to handle the follow-up work, such as investigating
Attacchi
the origins of
cardiaci.
this incident and
Ok.
tending to the root system.
Possibile che a una persona di 500 e passa anni gli vengono gli attacchi cardiaci. Sembra strano.
It looks calm on the outside, but Paimon bets her emotions must be all over the place right now, huh? She seems to have changed a lot since we last met her.
Ok. Che succede?
What's wrong, eh? Come on, keep up.
Attenzione.
What's going on? Are you feeling unwell again?
My body... I can't move it. It looks like the situation is more serious than I thought. No need.
Ok, questa mi è piaciuta. Questa mi è piaciuta.
The time has come. Can you help me walk? I need to go to the cave below the Grand Narukami Shrine.
Addirittura.
Why? What's in there?
A battleground. One where I shall sever ties with the past and take the first steps into the future.
Wow! Che figata! Allora, dove dobbiamo andare? 300 metri. Possiamo fare il teletrasporto? Yes. Ok, quindi... A quanto si è capito... O meglio, io non ci ho capito più una mazza. Perché, scusami, io credevo avesse un altro corpo. Invece no, è lo stesso corpo che deve riunirsi a quello del pupazzo. Boh, io non ci sto capendo più niente. Però, essenzialmente, quella che la chiamava prima, che diceva "She's calling me", fa riferimento allo Shogun. Quindi, al pupazzo. Allora, prima di arrivare là... Tanto deve andare da questa parte. Faccio un livellino al Sakura Tree, tanto ormai ci siamo. E cambiamo i personaggi del party. Cambiamo i personaggi del party e ci mettiamo la signorina Jin. Livello 47 con due Wishini. Ok, dobbiamo andare qua sotto. Ok. Qua sta per succedere qualcosa di veramente
We're
figo,
finally
gente.
here. The entrance should be nearby.
Uh.
Whoa! Where'd that Torii gate come from?
Io alzo anche un po' il volume di gioco perché qua c'è roba figa.
It's getting worse again.
Mi sa che mo si trasforma, mi sa di sì.
But it's fine. I'm happy. I'm about to put an end to it all. This is a place I once sealed off with my own hands. The entrance to Raiden Makoto's realm of consciousness.
Wow.
It looks like she will no longer allow me to do with this body as I please.
Huh? What are you talking about? And who is she? Makoto?
No, è il re del Shogun, il pupazzo.
Follow me.
Ok.
Where are we go?
Ok. Attenzione, qua c'è la parte figa, gente.
Paimon's dizzy. Where did we get sucked into this time? Whoa. This place...
Sì, sembra il Plane of Time, però leggermente diverso. Quello era rosa-viola, questo è blu.
Look over there. It's another A.
Oh!
We meet again, traveler. This body is an assistant to the one within, but it is also the guardian of the rules. Should the one within wish to stray from the rules, this body shall stand in her way.
Addirittura.
Wait, Paimon knows that voice. Is that the puppet?
You have wandered the realm in my body, and you appear to have grasped the true essence of eternity. You believe your present self has greater certainty than your former self. Thus, you believe your present self is correct, don't you? But have you really been enlightened with new ideas? Or have you been degraded by irreversible erosion?
Ok, aspetta, un attimino. Erosion fa riferimento all'erosione, al passaggio del tempo, quindi lo citava anche Zhongli, sembra un termine interessante, però penso che si riferisca solamente al fatto che col passare del tempo le cose cambiano. Ok, andiamo avanti.
I'm here to show you my answer. We are both warriors, and the dialogue we must now have shall be conducted by the blade alone.
Che figata.
Wait. The atmosphere in here just took a turn for the worse. Are you all right now?
The discomfort I was experiencing earlier was caused by the Shogun rejecting my continued use of her body. As she indicates, once I started entertaining the idea of change, I became hostile in her eyes.
Ok, questo me lo devo salvare perché è molto figo. Però ecco, quindi c'è un unico corpo, quello di Raiden, quello dello Shogun, che è un pupazzo che è immortale. E all'interno ci sono due coscienze, quella di Ei e quella di Raiden Shogun. Ok, quindi adesso si è chiarito.
But inside a realm of consciousness, I exist independently of her. She cannot affect me in this way. Though she is a puppet, the Shogun has her own consciousness too. When necessary, she appears here to confront me.
Paimon gets that everyone has their internal battles and stuff, but not like this. It's a bit extreme. Hey, showdown with the Shogun? Never thought we'd
Che
see
poi
that
adesso
day.
Ei dovrebbe utilizzare la spada, la Miss Splitter. Quindi...
No. The Shogun herself is the manifestation of my past ideals. The very foundation stone of eternity. It shall not be easily swayed. I would not try to change her if it wasn't necessary.
Isn't there any other way? Can't you talk it through or something?
No, mi sa di no.
But they both just want the best for Inazuma.
Ma sì.
My form is a symbol of supreme majesty, in which has been vested power over all the realm. It is the cohesive embodiment of all that constitutes the Raiden Shogun.
Wow.
It inherits A's pain, the pain of inevitable loss that comes as she moves forward. So too does it inherit her determination to reach eternity.
Che poi ha decisamente senso il fatto che tu per superare i tuoi, insomma, problemi e tutto il resto devi affrontare te stesso. Quindi ci sta, combattere questa battaglia tra coscienze.
Action undertaken is for the sake of resisting erosion.
Ok.
Determination, courage, love, hatred. All of these will be degraded and distorted by the incessant flow of time. Only rules shall remain constant for eternity. Those were my thoughts when I created you.
Ok.
Now, they are towering obstacles that I have no choice but to overcome. You wish to make yourself my enemy? I am your past, the everlasting law, the guardian of eternity.
Wow.
And I am she who promised a dream to her subjects. Raiden A.
Wow, che figata.
In the end, even the proud and mighty Oni maiden was cut down and disgraced.
Oh, cazzo.
Though your blade has been cleansed of her blood and filth, never shall it shine as brightly as it once did.
Porca vacca. Wow.
Strike dead. Erase all threats. Inazuma shines eternal. There is
Eh
no
no,
escape.
mannaggia.
Weak. Illusion shattered. The eye sweeps the lands.
Oddio, l'abbiamo evitato?
I shall not fall here.
Ok, mi hanno curato perché sennò finiva male.
To oblivion. The Kitsune Sakura blossoms that once filled the skies fell to the ground as pitch black rains. As long as the ley lines flow, the relentless erosion of time will never stop.
Ma non vale, anche lei si cura.
She's completely recovered.
Oh, cazzo.
Thunder. Illusion shattered. Insolent. Inazuma shines eternal.
Mannaggia.
Shine down.
Cavolo.
Be gone. Illusion shattered. Illusions are but distractions.
E adesso?
Absurd. Shattered. Now you shall perish. The divine lightning that envelops all of Inazuma.
Mi ha dato un achievement?
Into the clouds. There shall never be another. Never. For the rest of time.
Oh, cavolo.
Transcending. Erase all threats. Illusion shattered. Torn to oblivion. Weak. Pathetic. Weak. Be gone. Shine down.
Aia.
Now you shall perish.
Ma non vale,
The
cazzo.
lands. Insolent.
Vedremo, vedremo.
Lightning falls on the land of eternity. There is no escape.
Oddio, cazzo.
Inazuma shines eternal. Euthymia crumbles before.
Have you finally defeated her?
Ok, che figata. Allora, cioè, tutta sta boss fight è stata una cosa allucinante. Ok, vediamo un po'. Mi sa proprio di no.
It appears your martial prowess has not dulled. But how long can your will remain strong? In this realm of consciousness, her existence is tenacious indeed. She was built to resist erosion. Her will is stronger than any other living beings, including you and me.
Alla miseria addirittura.
Then, does that mean this is gonna be a never-ending battle?
No dai, non credo.
Maybe. But I have to prove to her that my present will is no product of erosion. The future I shall forge will be a grand undertaking. One that will be resistant to erosion. If I don't do this, the Shogun's rules can never change.
Tanto c'ho due healer in squadra. C'hai Jin e Bennett.
This is my duty. No matter how long this battle may last. Months, years, centuries. And no matter how many times we must fight, I will defeat her. 500 years ago, humanity proved their strength in battle. Here in the present, they rely on their ambition to challenge wayward practices, tear them out like the diseased wood of an old Sakura tree, so that new, healthy branches might spring to life in their place.
Che poi perché non possiamo utilizzare una spada come quella lì, per tutta viola?
That I learned to trust them. I understand that. But if the dreams of which Makoto spoke are true eternity, a short moment for which the Shogun does not exist is nothing to fear. I fight for the everlasting future of Inazuma. However long the battle may last, it is but a drop in the ocean of eternity.
Okay.
I vow to the subjects of Inazuma that I shall one day return. This is my oath.
Che bella, quanto è bella lei, madonna, dai, è troppo bella.
I place everything in Miko's hands.
But this means that...
Pass on my words.
No! Quindi nella storia quest di Miko dobbiamo andare lì? No!
Looks like we got kicked out.
Che mannaggia.
Oh, what do we do? Are we really just gonna leave A and the Shogun to keep on duking it out in there forever? She was making sense, and maybe this is the only way to change the Shogun's rules, but...
Ah, mannaggia.
Right? Also, A can be pretty stubborn at times, and has a history of rushing into difficult situations. What if she gets too obsessed with winning, and she forgets why she's there in the first place? It could happen, and then she might never leave again. Yeah, we should help her out, like we did last time. The quicker she gets through this, the better. Is there any way we can cut down how long she needs to spend in there? Or, you know, help her win the fight? Well, whatever. We can't let anything bad happen to A while she's in there.
Ok.
Oh, but we also can't get in there anymore. Okay, well, first things first. We gotta find a way back in. Oh, come on, brain juice. Don't feel Paimon now. Okay,
Mi piace un sacco come parla.
ram into it at the same time really, really hard. Oh, you're right. Paimon nearly forgot about her. Who knows if she really understands these consciousness realm plane thingies more than we do, but there's no one else we can turn to. All right, up the mountain we go.
Quindi è finita la quest o andiamo va avanti? No, va avanti, ok. Quindi evidentemente la story quest di Yae sarà su un'altra cosa. Ok, interessante. Allora, abbiamo sfondato le 3 ore, ma rimaniamo in diretta.
Let me guess. You're all tangled up in another situation and need me to unravel it for you. I hope you realize how lucky you are. If it was anyone else, I don't think I'd have the patience to keep greeting them with a smile after the first few
Lei è una di
times.
quelle persone che se ti può prendere per il culo senza farti rendertene conto, lo fa, di continuo proprio.
Nitpicking my turns of phrase. The sheer audacity.
Oh, yeah. Something really big's happened. It's she.
Ok, vediamo cosa ha da dire la signorina.
Okay, I see. So, A's decided to palm Inazuma off on the humans, while she goes off on her own to fight a fierce battle that doesn't even have an end date. Impossibly stubborn. Jumps straight to the most extreme course of action imaginable, presumes her sheer will can see her through, despite a near impossible goal that requires nothing short of the very peak of her abilities. Yes, that sounds
Insomma,
like
è una signorina molto testarda.
You know as well as I do that she's always been like this. Why start fretting about it now? Rushed into it without thinking. Well put. Oh, she acts like such a child sometimes. So you seem to be under the impression that I am able to offer some sort of help? Who gave you that idea?
Is she playing dumb? She's doing this on purpose, for sure.
You're learning, little one. But really, the truth of the matter
Che poi mi piace un
is that I
sacco
don't know
questa
much
cosa che
more
c'ha sulla
about Raiden
testa, no?
Makoto's realm of
Sembra una
consciousness
cosa
than you do.
divina.
All I know is that it's the foundation of the sacred Sakura, and from what I've heard, it's a little different from A's plane of euthymia.
Ok.
Because Raiden Makoto is no longer alive?
Not just because of that. The nature of the space itself is different in some way. But I can only speculate. You're the ones who have actually been there, so you tell me. What was it like? Anyway, we needn't worry about the details too much. It'll just be a little difficult to explain things later on, that's all. First things first. Follow me to the entrance.
Ok. Un'altra volta ci dobbiamo buttare giù. Dio mio, scusa, me l'hai fatto prima il teletrasporto? Potevi farlo anche ora. Cioè, mioio, veramente, alcune volte proprio non le capisco le tue scelte.
Now then, I always have my ways. It's just a question of how crafty I need to be. To the outsider, the realm of consciousness is a very abstract concept. Luckily, I'm A's familiar, so I can sense her rough whereabouts. In other words, even though I can't pinpoint the exact spatial location of this realm, I can still send you to where A is.
Allora, tutto sto parolone per dire che lo sa, ok.
But it has a location, but you don't know where it is, but you can still send us there.
Esatto.
What?
Yes, no need to try and understand it. Let me put this simply. Right now, she is surrounded by chaos. Everything is turbulent and disordered. If you try to force your way in, you could be swept away by a giant wave that sets you down in an unknown corner of space-time. This is precisely why when entering the plane of euthymia, it's much safer if you place your consciousness in a physical object first.
Ah.
Alright, well, I might stand here then. You two can go in.
In your dreams.
Suit yourself. Worst case scenario, all we stand to lose is A. So what's the big deal?
Bruno's had it up to here with both of you! Fine! Paimon's coming too.
Oh, well, if you're quite sure, then of course. Now, I shall send you on
Ok,
your
quindi
way.
ora forse finalmente boss fight.
I say. Oh, nothing. It just seems extraordinarily chaotic, that's all. My suspicions have been confirmed. By the way, remember to focus constantly on your heartfelt wishes when you enter inside.
Ok.
Only a strong enough will can prevent you from being swallowed by the giant waves of abstract space. Only if you are strong enough can I deliver you to the right destination.
Ok, mi salvo questa immagine pure.
Well
Se mai
then,
potesse
the
servire.
door's open. Hop on in. I'll stay outside and provide what stability I can. I'll be ready to respond if anything happens. I'm placing my god in your capable hands. For my sake, and for Inazuma's, please. Bring her back.
Ooh.
Miko, you better know what you're doing!
That's enough chatter. Get to work.
Ok, forza, boss fight che la gente vuole vedere la boss fight. Filmatino.
Remember to focus constantly on your heartfelt wishes when you enter inside. Only if you are strong enough can I deliver you to the right destination.
Che figata. Eccole qui. Ah, non avevo... ci sono guardato, non avevo nemmeno cominciato. Ok. Guarda com'è sorpresa.
How can this be? You have returned. But how were you able to get back in? And how come you have not changed at all in all these years? This is a duel to remember.
No, aspetta, no, questa me la salvo pure. Si sa mai.
It is as if we have returned to the moment when the laws of eternity were first established. Your will today is as strong as it was back then. Over countless battles, not once have you lost, and never have you shown the slightest hesitation. Had I made all enemies of eternity stand against you, you still would not have wavered.
Io mi salvo tutte le immagini di questo scontro perché è una figata allucinante.
You have my admiration too. You bring honor to the title of Guardian of Eternity. Now these two return once more to this space. An inevitability of fate, perhaps. Then, let this be our final duel. The conclusion to that which began 500 years ago.
Mamma mia!
Final duel?
La regia.
So you're finally willing to... Stand back, traveler.
Wow, che cazzo sta succedendo?
I'm going to be the start of something new. The time our duels took to fight was long enough to witness the rise and fall of...
Oddio, eccola qua! Oddio! Mi sta distruggendo.
And the will they demanded, sufficient to penetrate minds and crush dreams. The will I carry within me will never be eroded nor destroyed.
Oh cavolo, non mi si carica la burst.
I will endure forever. Witness the final calamity.
Oh cazzo.
Shine down.
Oddio, mamma mia. Wow.
There is no escape. Eternity is in my hands.
Ok.
This is the end. You have won. I believed you were incapable of transcending the past. But it seems my belief was baseless, and I underestimated your spirit.
Pensavo che lo potevamo affrontare con il Traveler, invece no.
But a will that cannot be eroded has no way to embrace the future. You need not worry about the future. And you aren't alone. I know your power more than anyone else. Had I relied upon my strength alone, I would have lost this duel for sure. Yet, my reason for fighting redefined my martial prowess and redrew my limits. I now carry the gaze of the myriad of expectant eyes that look to the light in the heavens. And whenever I think of this, I feel something stirring within Muso Ishin. The blade that I inherited from Makoto seems to be trying to guide me, to encourage me. I noticed it also. Just now in the heat of battle, it seemed to unleash a new and unfamiliar power.
Ok.
This power is beyond the limits of my understanding. This blade belonged to Makoto. Perhaps it can only respond to
Ci hanno
me with its
aggiunto The
full
Previous
power
Shogun.
when I truly understand and believe in her. When I clasped Muso Ishin in my hands, I had the feeling that she was by my side once again. It was at once a familiar feeling and a strange one. Makoto barely wielded a blade in her life, and yet her blade brings me
addirittura.
closer to her.
Cioè, aveva la spada ma non la
my
utilizzava.
approval. Your present will is not the product of erosion. I shall no longer stop you from attempting to modify the rules. From this day forth, this body will remain your assistant. I won't design any more rules that can never be changed. You used to represent my past, but from today onward, you are me. Makoto never saw me as a fearless weapon. Likewise, I should not regard you as a mere tool.
Oh.
You truly have changed. I suppose this is what humans call growth. I understand. I shall become your shadow, just as you were once Makoto's
Che
shadow.
figata sta
The
regia.
duties I perform will not change. But as a warrior, I look forward to the chance to fight like this again in the future. Do you say this because you have not yet reconciled yourself with your defeat? It was simply a new experience for me. One that is worth reliving.
Have you finished fighting then? Like, for real this time?
Che accade?
Hello, A. And greetings, those who have come to bear witness.
Wow!
I am Raiden Makoto, the previous Electro Archon, who failed in my duties and left you all to pick up the pieces. Makoto?
Ooh.
I'm so happy. You've come so far. I always knew you would make it here in the end.
Yes!
I left a faint fragment of my will in Muso Ishin, so that in the moment that you unleashed its full power, I too would be released.
Quindi me lo dai anche a me un po' di power up in più?
Convoluted way to reach you, but... well, you held such deeply entrenched views at the time that you wouldn't have listened to a word I said. There was no time to wait for you to have a change of heart. Please forgive me. All I could do was find some way to wait until you came to me. But... you never mentioned this to me. Everything happened so suddenly. I'm sorry.
Certo, potevano darle un viso, no? Cioè, ci vediamo i
I
fantasmi.
always felt terrible for having to entrust Inazuma to
Anche
you
se è
all
molto
of a
simile a
sudden.
lei,
I should have been the one to impart these ideas to you, a little at a time, to dissuade you from your pursuit of stillness. Did you know what was about to happen in Khaenri'ah? I had some sense of it. That place was not somewhere that any Archon could afford to ignore.
Addirittura.
In my present form, I can no longer perceive time. I don't know how long we have been separated before this reunion, and I don't know what Inazuma has experienced in the meantime. But I know that this must have been an extremely arduous journey for you. And I'm sure you must have wanted to shed tears many times along the way. Don't look down on me. See? You admit it. It was with this possibility in mind that I left a parting gift for you. Something to soothe Inazuma's pain. Here, take it. before my last shred of consciousness fades away. But it is you who must take the most important step.
Filmatino.
The light turned into a seed?
The miracle tree that blesses the people, in this moment new to the world and yet to be known. When to plant it, where it shall bloom. She who brings it into being must let her heart and dreams decide. Grant it life, eh? Is it really? Eternity extends time into infinity. Dreams illuminate each moment within. When both shine in unison, the sacred Sakura blooms from the darkness, finally free from the clutches of the heavenly principles. Now the nightmare has dissipated, and reality is made whole. The vision we both yearn for is still further ahead. My only regret is that I cannot witness Inazuma's future. Nor can I walk this journey with you. Do you know, I am so happy right now, because my final wish has now come true. Your polearm once protected me from countless calamities. For this, I've always felt indebted to you. Though I could never repay you in full, this sacred Sakura will buy you some time until you are ready to awaken and embrace the new. What do you think? Did it do the trick? This time, it really is goodbye, eh?
Che figata, cioè.
Goodbye, Makoto.
Veramente dai, veramente una figata.
So the A of the present planted the sacred Sakura in the realm of consciousness, and it took root in the Inazuma of the past. No matter what you make of it, it's quite incredible.
All of this is thanks to Makoto's power. Her understanding of eternity is much more profound than mine. Eternity is a concept intimately connected with time. When you begin to touch on eternity, the concept of time becomes murky.
A place where time is meaningless and cannot be understood with ordinary logic. So that was the turbulence I was sensing. Perhaps that is the reason why you were able to return precisely to this point in time without any problems. And yet, that sense of disorderliness has now completely disappeared.
I don't fully understand yet. But my intuition tells me that the reason for everything, it's that seed.
Quel seme.
Well, I'm not convinced that it was Makoto's power alone.
I know what you mean. Perhaps Makoto got a higher power involved in all of this.
Istarot.
But whatever the explanation, her solution is what saved us all.
Chi è sto Istarot?
Without the sacred Sakura, Inazuma would
Questo non lo
likely have been
conosco.
completely swallowed up centuries ago by that disaster and the filth.
I know you've always perceived there was something special about the sacred Sakura, but to me, it has always been there. You've tried in the past to prove to me that there's a connection between the sacred Sakura and Makoto's consciousness, but unfortunately, you never did persuade me, did you?
Cerchiamolo su.
But I understand why now.
Allora.
It was because the sacred Sakura hadn't even been planted then.
But don't you think that tree looked a lot different than how it does now?
The sacred Sakura is within my purview at the shrine, so obviously I get to prune it exactly how I like it.
Ugh. Now we see who's pulling the strings.
I'm joking. That tree has been through a
Wow.
lot since it first sprouted.
Ok, finiamo sto
We have the
filmatino, poi
loving
vi
care of
spiego.
Kitsune over the ages to thank for how it appears today. And obviously I played my part too. It's fair to say that very little time passed between the moment you came out of that realm and the moment you re-entered it. But in that same time, centuries of battling took place on the inside, did
È
it
molto
not?
molto figa come cosa.
Traveler, if I'm
La
guessing
chiudiamo giusto per
correctly,
chiudere lo stream.
you
Dai.
were repeating your wishes to yourself in your mind, weren't you? At that time, I could sense A's whereabouts, but I also sensed anomalies in the flow of time within that space. Suffice to say, time added a whole new dimension to our search. Simply establishing a location was not sufficient. Fortunately, your will was strong enough that the turbulence carried you to the moment in time most likely to be the intersection of all that you were wishing for. The flow of turbulence may well have been influenced by Makoto, but it took everyone's efforts combined to ultimately help A. So this time,
Se riusciamo a finire in fretta, facciamo anche la sfida contro lo Shogun della settimanale. Però bisogna farlo.
We were always meant to be there to witness what was going to happen?
I thought that the flow of time was the same on the inside and the outside. So it was a great shock to me when the traveler reappeared. My first thought was, has a great disaster befallen Inazuma? But it turned out you had come to rescue me. You came for my sake, to help me reach the best possible outcome. You too have my thanks. You have done much for me, and I will never forget it.
Se posso chiedere, potrei avere un personaggio 5 stelle o un'arma 5 stelle nel caso? No,
and the Shogun's will no longer fights against me.
Always thrilled to hear you're in good health. But I was really asking about your emotions. Have you managed to calm down? After all, you saw Makoto in there, didn't you?
I only heard her voice. I wouldn't say I saw her. I'll be fine. It brought a few things back, of course, but I've made my decision to move forward. I have to say, this has reminded me once again just how brilliant Makoto was. She predicted all the ways in which Inazuma's future could unfold, all the way back then. She even factored my immaturity into her plan. It's all thanks to her that Inazuma lived to see this day. I just planted a seed.
Yeah, it was thanks to everything you did that you got to see her again. That's amazing!
Thank you.
Today, at long last, you and Inazuma finally emerge from the shadows cast by the events of centuries past. Makoto and you are Inazuma's past and future, and both are indispensable.
It's rare to hear such comforting words from you.
Infatti.
I graciously accept them.
Di solito sta sempre a prendere per il culo gli altri.
You only think it's rare because you never used to listen to a word I say.
Makoto said the exact same thing!
Great minds think alike, hmm? I wonder, does that qualify me to maybe take the position of Shogun for a couple of days?
Guarda te che faccia!
Actually, no. Forget that. Far more trouble than it's worth.
We will have to end the frivolities there. There is much work to be done. The Shogun and I will closely review the Inazuma of today to find out where things currently stand. Then, we will give careful consideration to the future. After that, I will abolish the Sakoku decree.
Finalmente!
That's huge news!
I am no longer pursuing an eternity defined by stasis. In which case, there is no further need to keep the nation under lock and key. I don't doubt that many challenges lie ahead for Inazuma. I'm looking forward to it.
Molto, molto bella questa qua, veramente molto molto bella questa quest.
Many challenges still lie ahead for Inazuma, but I am
Ok,
prepared for
concludiamo
them.
con questo.
Abolishing the Sakoku decree has a myriad of implications. It would be folly to say that it will be all positive, and there will be no negative repercussions. For example, I can foresee the outside world posing a threat to Inazuma's businesses.
Va bene, grazie per
These
essere
are the issues
passato.
that I must
Tanto io
work to solve.
5 minuti e
Hey,
chiudo.
you're thinking about this all so conscientiously. I've only got as far as wondering whether I'll be able to sell entrance tickets to the
Sì,
Grand
sorry, è
Maritime
durato un
Shrine
po'
in
più
the
del
future.
previsto. Ci si rivede domani, stasera non ci sono, quindi ci si rivede domani,
Many
dai.
challenges still lie ahead for Inazuma. Makoto's gaze was always fixed on the people of Inazuma. I always assumed it was because that was her duty. But now, I see that hers was a gaze full of delight and hope. It was not just a duty, but a joy, too. She loved humanity very dearly.
If the people of the past deserve the gods' attention, then so do the people of the future.
Indeed. No longer will I ignore their passions and dreams. Many challenges still lie ahead for
Ok,
Inazuma.
vediamo
To
qua.
put it bluntly, it was constant torture, with no end in sight. Faced with an endless battle, I had to remain focused at all times. Had my concentration lapsed for but a moment, the Shogun's blade would have taken my life.
Addirittura.
Safe to say, were it not for my previous experiences in combat, my skills would not have been up to the challenge. I would most certainly have been defeated. And through it all, you also had your part to play. Many challenges still lie ahead for Inazuma. Don't
concludiamo
worry,
con questo.
I haven't forgotten. I will be sure to remind the Tenryou and Yashiro commissions of their duties in this regard. It's not only the monsters that I am worried about. I'm concerned about what else might escape from the sacred Sakura.
That's a tough one, all right. There's plenty more besides memories held in the ley lines.
Since you clearly understand, perhaps you could think about making an effort too. Many challenges still lie ahead for Inazuma.
Yai Miko said nothing of the sort. And the traveler has some nerve making up spurious claims about her while she is still present. Some words are not to be passed on. Trust me. You don't want to know the cost of betraying me. Just think of the things I said to you as our little secret. Understood?
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Ooh, I suddenly want some fried tofu.
Many challenges still lie ahead for Inazuma, but I am prepared.
Ok. Dream Sakura, vediamo un po' questo oggettino. Aspetta, si vede così. Ok, allora per concludere questa diretta, gente, volevo solamente dire che quel Istaroth che faceva riferimento prima nei dialoghi è uno dei primi dei che ci sono stati nel mondo di Genshin e vi consiglio di andare a vedere questa pagina che c'è sulla Wikia. Però è legato a Enkanomiya, quindi se esplorate la zona scoprirete di più su questo personaggio. Ok, direi che con questo abbiamo finito, gente. Grazie per aver seguito la diretta, oppure il video se state vedendo la clip su YouTube. Insomma, per chi non lo sa, ho un sito tutto mio, insidewebroom.it, dove vengono pubblicati articoli di approfondimento, analisi, insomma, tutti legati al mondo del cinema, videogiochi, anime, serie TV, queste cose qui. C'è una parte community legata a Genshin e in arrivo anche una cosa legata una parte legata a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. E insomma, poi io streamo tutte le sere su Twitch o, come vedete in questo caso, nel primo pomeriggio.